Give it a few moments. Okay, Islam Sheet Dwayne Bey, Islam on Moorish American Nation. It is August the 27th, 2022, and I'm leaving Burger King now. It's about 4:30 p.m. I work from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. See, leaving, change it to my shirt. Imani works a double today. It's Saturn day. Feeling pretty well. That's all I really have to say. I was gonna document or start saying my work ethics, but I mean, I do I don't know. I know I guess maybe I should. Yeah, I guess I should. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, what I'm due is what I've been doing. Today I spoke to Thomas about sanitizing and what I should do, what I should sanitize, because he said that we supposed to use peroxide to sanitize on the counter and on the front counter, and I was like, okay. He told me this maybe 2 weeks ago, and I remember him doing it before, approximately 2 weeks ago. But the next time I worked with Phyllis, I told Phyllis, and Phyllis said, no, we supposed to use the sanitizer that's in the red bucket to wipe the front counter off where the customers get their food and the cash registers are. I said, oh, okay. So, anyway, today, because I work with Phyllis most of the days, I realized after a rush, I was like, I saw the peroxide in the office, and I was like, oh, Thomas, I went to him, I said, I forgot that you want us to use the peroxide, and he was saying that's what Burger King wants. And I told him, Phyllis does not, don't want to scratch my neck, manipulate it. My neck is healing up so fast and so well, I don't want to scratch it, okay? I didn't think that you can actually, maybe 15 years ago, I wouldn't think that someone can actually, unclean spirit can engage to cause you to scratch. So, and this is in connection to those who have problems with skin, dermatitis, whether it's emphysema, I think, what is it called? So there's eczema and impetigo. I think it's called impetigo, and other skin rashes or skin disease. And usually children are affected the most. Because growing up, it's usually the children that has been affected the most with these skin. When I say disease, I'm saying DIS-EASE. And I would never think that an unclean spirit can force engage, and because I am a spiritual woman and I deal with spirituality, can force engage. Now this is 15 years ago, and now I'm 49, so let's see here. Pretty much. So for example, my sister had issues with eczema. Now, I didn't know that we were among unclean spirits, and I don't think my father knew either, nor did my mother and other Moors. And then there was issues and reference, and I didn't know that your thoughts can be manipulated. So what I noticed, when I scratch right here or have a tingling to scratch, I have noticed for some reason simultaneously somebody, usually an African American male accent or female accent, but it has been predominantly male accent, might say brother. So, and what I'm getting at, that's now in this day and time. What I'm getting at now, eczema, impetigo, and other issues with skin has been going on for a long time. And usually it's the children that's affected the most. Children. And because I've seen children affected by it, because I've seen and the doctors, it does not run in my family, but doctors have said it runs in family. Okay, I'm gonna say that. Some doctors, so they say it's hereditary. So what I'm connecting with this day and time is the different medical diagnosis that doctors and nurses, or nurses cannot diagnose, only doctors can diagnose. But nurses can implement a diagnosis, whatever the doctor tells her to do. So what I've noticed is I am connecting the dots with different medical diagnoses with spirituality and dealing with unclean spirits. So because the unclean spirits that exist now, they existed 100 years ago. They existed 200 years ago. They existed, and some of them might be in a new form. They existed 300 and 400 years ago. They existed for a long time, and in time, unclean spirits can change up in different forms or whatever, but it's still unclean and unnatural. Islam. So this is unclean, and I gotta keep the word unnatural. Unclean and unnatural. So I find it so interesting. Many times when I scratch right here, I can't tell you how many times I've had an England feeling scratch, and it could be when I'm walking from Burger King back towards the room or whatever, or at the room or whatever. I'm hearing feedback in the room at Extended Stay American in Annapolis, Maryland, and sound like someone is saying brother. Okay, so I find that so interesting, because now being a spiritual woman and knowing I've always been a spiritual woman, but I didn't implement my spirituality and learning spirituality. I'm connecting many medical diagnoses with spirit, unclean spirits, unnatural spirits. So once again, this is getting back to unclean, unnatural spirits being used as weapons. Because I put that thought, I experienced thought being used as weapons of mass destruction in reference to health. So impetigo, eczema, those are skin conditions, and that is dealing with health. It's just like other, I don't want to even mention it. It's just like viruses, different viruses and diseases. They are all connected to health. So if a doctor doesn't specialize in spirituality and only focus on the science part, they want to say, and not the spiritual part. They use science and, for instance, the hypothesis and getting the solution and so forth, but not dealing with spirituality. I think that is a big that's an issue, because some doctors, not all doctors, do that. Because many doctors, let me say, I've come across books where doctors have used to be in a hospital field, and they were basically a clinical doctor, and they switched over to holistic. They use the word holistic health, holistic healing. Holistic is connecting a different way of healing other than, for instance, with eczema, other than go to the doctor, get a diagnosis of eczema, then the doctor gives you a prescription, you go to the pharmacist. All this costs money. You get insurance, or if you don't, you go to the pharmacist. The pharmacist give you a prescription of eczema cream, and then if you use too much of the eczema cream, in many cases, I should say in my case, it thins your skin. it thins the layer of your skin if you use too much. But if you have unclean or natural spirits continuously attacking you, and this is my thought as a spiritual woman, how does that heal you from then you continually to go back to the doctor diagnoses you, gives you a prescription, you have money, you use your money, go back to the pharmacist, get the prescription, and you apply it, what the prescription says. And so, but yet, there's unclean, unnatural spirits still attacking. And then, as time goes on, you notice your skin is thinning out. Why is your skin thinning out? And then, because the topic or whatever is too strong for your skin. So, what I was thinking about in reference to thoughts is how unclean, unnatural spirits are used as weapons of mass destruction in reference to health, and how many hospitals and other places that's supposed to be for healing, and they might know about it and then they might not, but the ones that do know, these are thoughts, spiritual thoughts, and they have continued to make profit from it. For example, I couldn't understand, or why would a hospital misdiagnose deceased patients? When the coronavirus pandemic first happened, this undercover reporter went undercover because people were saying when their family members died, they got the death certificates, and on the death certificate, it would say, even though they were told the person died from cancer, which we're among different laboratory experiments that can control technology that exude cancer. Let me make sure I keep this far away from me, because it's a tablet, it's a computer, so it can exude some form of radiation. But so if they have a family member that died of cancer, and that's what they said, the reason why they died, but yet when they looked at the paper, it's showing coronavirus. So the reporter went undercover and saw this, and they did a video about it. And so I found that really odd. And then they were saying that different hospitals were getting a stimulus check depending on how many patients they diagnosed with the coronavirus. So what I'm doing is connecting profit. And so let me see. So now, so monkeypox. So monkeypox is what they're talking about this day and time. Monkeypox, what I was looking at, I'm going to read more about it. It affects the skin. Monkeypox. So now the doctors, I'm pretty sure, because they saying it's a virus. But I'm going to look up and read about it. But it affects the skin. Monkeypox. So if you have a skin disease such as monkeypox, and you don't know where it came from, it like the virus came out of it. Like where did the virus come from? Okay, where did monkeypox come from? Where did monkeypox come from? Where did HIV come from? Where did AIDS come from? Anyway, to me is considered an unclean spirit. So monkeypox affects the skin. So imagine an unclean spirit not only engaging to affect you in a manner where you can become sick and ill in different ways, whether it's respiratory, where you coughing a lot, or your genitals being attacked, or you getting cuts, or an unclean spirit can control bugs or mosquitoes and so forth, or even those that can control technology, exuding radiation that can inflict cancer. Okay? Radiation that can inflict cancer. And so you're trying to heal, but you don't realize that your body sheet this is on a spiritual level, is constantly being engaged by unclean spirit to prevent you from healing. So if you have monkeypox and an unclean spirit is constantly engaging, and you scratching, and then you touch somebody, you don't know you have monkeypox, you touch somebody, that person gets monkeypox, that person don't know they have monkeypox, they think it's just a sore, they touch somebody, they touch somebody, and then monkeypox spreads. So this is something to think about. And then what happens is the hospitals get full of patients. The hospital beds are full of patients. And all the medical treatments, and people are running out of money, they try to get insurance. The doctors are working overtime. The nurses are working overtime. The pharmacists are working overtime. They're trying to keep the cure. They're trying to make sure all these cures are available. And they say, vaccine! It's time for a vaccine! So I just want, it's time to vaccinate! Anyway, I just wanted to think about, when I saw it and do that, I just wanted to say that. Anyway, Dwayne, so I just, I'll talk to you later, but today was an okay day. So getting back, so Thomas was saying to use the peroxide on the counter. But when I worked with Phyllis, she said no. So today, she said use what we've been using, sanitizer and the red and the pink and the red towel with the that comes from the red bucket. It's August 27, 22. And so what so today I noticed I was wiping the counters, but I forgot about Thomas telling me that he said that Burger King prefers to use peroxide. And I try to do, even though it doesn't correlate what the next manager says to do, like the Hershey Sunday Pies and water cups and so forth, I do what, whoever's on duty, I do what I know that they expect for me to do. So I told Thomas, I said, I forgot that you prefer peroxide. And he was emphasizing this Burger King. Understand? But anyway, after I had a conversation with him again, he did say, when you work with Phyllis, do what Phyllis asked you to do. And I said, okay. Because I was telling him, I told him what Phyllis said, because I told Phyllis what he said, and she said, no, use the sanitizer. And he said, do what Phyllis says after we had the second conversation about it. I wanted to get clarity on it. And that was, and then he also told me to use a degreaser to wipe the top of the trash can. There is a pale-skinned lady that fell maybe 2 weeks ago. She's a regular customer. She comes in, she's like, hey Phyllis, how you doing? She talks to Phyllis. I've been seeing her for a while, come in with this black male. I call her pale skin. These are just a description. I don't know if they claim a nationality. So you would say, so I would say pale skin or pale skin and black male and pale skin female. And she would speak to Phyllis and so forth. So anyway, one day I was working with, this was maybe 2 weeks ago, working with Thomas, and she fell in the dining room. And anyway, after that, she started bringing, when she came in for the past week or so, she'll bring the dirty trays to the front counter. I told Thomas, I said, the lady that fell is constantly, I told Phyllis too, I said, the lady that fell is bringing dirty trays on the front counter, putting them on the front counter. And they didn't say anything in reference to tell her not to, or I'm going to speak to her, that I remember. Today we were short-handed. It was only me, Thomas, and Dora working the front line, and we were bum rushed. And then the truck had came in, and so I think it was Abel, who is Spanish speaking, was putting the truck boxes up and bringing boxes to the front line. And so there was a box on the front line, and then the front area was full of customers, many customers. I would say, and so when I say many, more than 5 approximately. Okay, 1 is too much. And she putting dirty trays, and we're short-handed and busy. I'm really busy because 3 people, Dora, Thomas, and me. Taking, and then it's like Thomas was going back and forth in the kitchen, and then a truck came in, and the pale-skinned lady who fell was putting dirty trays on the front counter. And I told Thomas that, and also when she came in, then she brought a basket of straws. She said the straws in the dining room are low. I said, I don't think you're supposed to be doing this. I said, do you work for Burger King? And she said, no. I said, are you on the clock? Do you work for Burger King? She said, no. This was earlier. Then later, maybe 3 hours or 4 hours later, she came back, and she brought the trays again, and she said, I'm going to start working for Burger King on Monday. I said, you are? I said, because earlier I asked you, you said you didn't work for Burger King and you're not on the clock. So, and this is the lady that fell in the dining room just approximately 2 weeks ago. So, anyway, it's August 27, 2022.